What if death isn't the end, but the final illusion? What if everything you've ever believed about the afterlife, heaven, hell, peace, darkness, was only a veil, and behind it lies something far stranger, far older, and far more real? For over 1,000 years, the truth has been hidden, not in darkness, but in plain sight, carved into ancient scrolls, whispered in underground temples, chanted by monks in forgotten languages. Not a myth, not a metaphor, but a blueprint, a map. And it tells us that death is not the end. It's a test that begins the moment you take your last breath. And most fail it, not because they are unworthy, not because they are evil, but because they are unaware. In today's video, we're going to unravel the hidden knowledge behind what really happens after death. This isn't just mysticism. This isn't dogma. This is ancient psychology, spiritual mechanics, a forbidden science of the soul. We'll walk together through the arcane insights preserved in the Tibetan Bardo Thödol, the Book of the Dead. But we'll go beyond even that, drawing from Hermetic teachings, Dionysian rites, and mystical doctrines that were once punishable by death to even speak aloud. You're not just going to learn what happens after you die. You're going to learn why most people never escape the cycle. And most importantly, how you can. Because the afterlife isn't a courtroom. It's a mirror. Everything you see after death is you, your beliefs, your attachments, your fears, projected into reality. And if you can't recognize that, you'll walk willingly into your next life, unaware, unconscious, unawakened. But if you're here, watching this, I believe you're different. I believe something in you knows that you weren't born just to live, die, and forget. There's a reason this knowledge was hidden. Because if the masses knew it, they could no longer be controlled. If you knew that no one is judging you but yourself, if you understood that you carry the keys to liberation inside your own mind, the entire world would change. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand not just death, but life, consciousness, reality itself. And if you're new here, this is Celestial Sijjin, where we uncover the forbidden, the forgotten, and the eternal. We dive into Hermetic laws, ancient rituals, hidden scriptures, and the mysteries modern society wants you to ignore. Subscribe if you dare to remember what your soul already knows. And now, let us begin with the origins of this knowledge. How did we come to know what happens after the end? Who were the ones who mapped the other side? And why did they risk everything to preserve it? Long before modern religions painted heaven and hell in black and white, ancient sages studied death like a science. They didn't fear it. They prepared for it, because they believed that the way you die determines the way you return, or whether you return at all. One of the most revered manuals for navigating this journey comes from the peaks of Tibet, the Bardo Thödol, often mistranslated as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. But let's be clear, this isn't a book about mourning the dead. It's not meant for the grieving. It's a manual for the dying. A whisper to the soul as it leaves the body, guiding it through a realm where thought becomes form and illusion becomes trap. The word Bardo means in between, a space between two worlds, two incarnations, two realities. And according to these ancient texts, every soul must pass through this space, but only a few awaken inside it. So where did this knowledge come from? Some say it was revealed by Padmasambhava, a great mystic who introduced Tantric Buddhism to Tibet in the 8th century. Others believe it predates even him, passed down through oral tradition from Indian and Bon shamanic roots, encoded in mantras and rituals too powerful to be written in plain form. And yet, this isn't a uniquely Tibetan idea. Across cultures and continents, the same truths echo, as if whispered from the same source through different tongues. In Egypt, the Book of Coming Forth by Day taught that the soul must navigate through tests and illusions in the underworld. In Greece, the Orphic mysteries warned initiates to avoid drinking from the river Lethe, the river of forgetting, or else they would be pulled back into the cycle of rebirth. And in Hermetic texts, death is described not as destruction, but as purification, a necessary shedding of illusion before merging with the One. Do you see the pattern? These aren't stories, they are maps written in the language of symbol and myth, pointing to the same destination: self-realization through death. But somewhere along the way, this knowledge became dangerous, not because it was false, but because it was empowering. Because if people truly understood that no external God decides their fate, if they knew that liberation depends on awareness and not obedience, then religions would lose their grip, governments would lose their fear-based power, and humanity would remember who it really is. And so these teachings were hidden, burned, banned, buried under temples and sealed with curses, turned into superstition by the same institutions that once trembled before them. But the knowledge survived, in secret rites, in coded manuscripts, in whispered chants passed from teacher to student over centuries. And now, it is returning. So, what exactly happens when the body dies? The heart stops, the breath stills, the body goes cold, but the story doesn't end. It begins. The moment the body is left behind, awareness remains, but stripped of the physical senses. It's like waking up in a dream, except everything is unfamiliar and hyper-real. There is no heartbeat, yet you feel present. There is no breath, yet you're aware. You may even see your own body lying beneath you. At first, there's confusion. Some try to re-enter the body, others try to call for help. But no one hears, no one responds, because the veil has fallen. And now, the test begins. According to the Bardo Thödol, the soul's first encounter is not with angels or devils, but with the clear light of ultimate reality, a blinding, formless radiance. It is pure awareness itself, what sages call the Dharmakaya, or the infinite, unborn mind. If you can surrender to it, truly recognize it, you become one with it. Enlightenment, liberation, no more cycle, no more illusion. But there's a catch. To recognize the clear light, you must already be familiar with it. You must have seen glimpses of it in meditation, in stillness, in ego death. You must be prepared, because for the untrained mind, it's overwhelming. It's too vast, too bright, too empty. And so the soul recoils, fear rises, memories rush in. Identity clings to itself like a drowning man grasping at shadows. And in that fear, the illusions begin. Sound returns, not as voice, but as echo. Murmurs, whispers, distorted fragments of past conversations. You hear your name, but no one's there. Shapes form from the void. Patterns twist into landscapes, faces emerge, some familiar, others grotesque. But nothing is real, not yet. You see, the Bardo is a realm where thought becomes form instantly. Every fear becomes a monster. Every desire becomes a trap. Every attachment becomes a cage. Imagine a dream where everything you think manifests in real time, without delay, without filter. That is the Bardo, and most souls, unprepared, fall for the illusion. Some see loved ones and follow them. Some see religious figures they believed in and submit. Some see demons and flee in terror. But all of it is a test, the projections of your own mind. This is the first stage, the realm of projections. And if you recognize it as illusion, you can dissolve it. But if you don't, you enter deeper into the Bardo, into what the ancient texts call the karmic mirror, a realm designed not to punish, but to reflect. And in that mirror, you will face everything you've ever been. We'll cover that next. If the soul fails to merge with the clear light, it enters a second phase, a series of visionary encounters, stunning, radiant, and deeply symbolic. This is where many begin to mistake the Bardo for heaven. They see luminous beings, what their culture might label angels, gods, or ascended masters. These forms radiate peace, wisdom, love. They do not speak, but their presence communicates something deeper. You are safe. You are home. But according to the esoteric texts, these are not external beings. They are you. They are emanations of your own higher consciousness, the sacred dormant self that rarely speaks during life. And if the soul can recognize these luminous beings for what they truly are, reflections of its own divine mind, then liberation is still possible. But there is danger here too, because even light can become illusion. Some souls fall into worship. They begin to believe these beings are separate, above them, beyond them. And in doing so, they lower themselves once again into duality. They fail to see the truth. Everything in the Bardo is a mirror. Fail this stage, and the visions begin to change. The light dimmens, the faces distort, the peaceful figures become wrathful. You are no longer in the land of light. You are now in the land of shadow. But again, these are not punishments. They are not demons. They are the unseen parts of your own psyche, finally unchained. Regret, guilt, rage, fear. Every suppressed emotion you never faced in life now takes form, and it looks right at you. They chase, they scream, they twist the very landscape of the Bardo. But here's the secret. They have no power, except the power you give them. If you flee, you feed them. If you fight, you become them. But if you recognize them, acknowledge them, they vanish. Like smoke, like dream. Few make it this far, but those who do face the next great test, the life review. But not like a movie reel, not like a slideshow of memory. The soul doesn't watch its life, it becomes it. You feel every thought, every word, every action. From the perspective of every other being you ever touched, you feel the smile you gave to a stranger, the joy you brought to a child, but also the pain you caused, the neglect, the betrayal, the harm, no matter how small. And in that moment, there is no escape, no excuse, no denial, but also no judgment. Because there is no judge, only you. You are the witness. You are the courtroom. You are the sentence. Some are crushed under the weight of what they see. Others are freed by the truth of it. And then comes the final stage, the choice. You stand at the edge of a new life, pulled by familiar faces, voices, promises of love and redemption. A mother, a lover, a child. They reach out to you. They tell you, come back, it's not over. But none of them are real. They are projections designed by your own soul to test your attachments. And if you cling to them, you will return. A new life, a new body, a new forgetting. The wheel turns, again and again, until you remember. But if you recognize the illusion, if you see through the veil, if you surrender, not to the vision, but to the light behind it, then you dissolve. You merge. You are free. And that is the rarest path of all. If there's one truth repeated across every mystical tradition, it is this. The way you live is the way you will die, and the way you die determines what comes next. You don't wait until death to understand the Bardo. You prepare now, while you're still breathing, while you're still choosing, while you still have a body. And preparation doesn't mean memorizing scripture. It doesn't mean memorizing symbols. It means transforming your consciousness. It means sharpening your awareness so deeply that when the illusions come, you recognize them instantly. So how do you do that? One detachment is your first weapon. You must train yourself to let go, not just of objects, but of ideas. Let go of your identity. Let go of your name. Let go of the belief that your job, your past, your body defines you. In death, clinging is the trap. So in life, practice non-attachment. Don't confuse this with indifference. You can love, but don't possess. You can build, but don't bind yourself. The monk prepares for death, not by rejecting the world, but by realizing he was never of it. Ask yourself daily, if I died today, what am I still attached to? And then start loosening your grip. 2. Cultivate radical awareness. The key to escaping the illusions of the Bardo is recognizing them. But if you can't recognize illusions here in life, how can you recognize them after death? Start by observing your mind without judgment. Notice how thoughts arise. Notice how emotions shape perception. Notice how desire colors your reality. Practice meditation not as relaxation, but as training. Each time you sit in stillness, you are entering a mini Bardo. You are watching thoughts without identifying with them. This is the training ground. This is the dojo of the soul. The clearer your awareness now, the sharper your vision after death. 3. Embrace shadow work. Don't wait for death to meet your inner demons. Meet them now. Your fear, your shame, your guilt, your trauma. They are not enemies, they are doorways, and if you ignore them in life, they will come for you in death, louder, darker, more real. The wrathful illusions of the Bardo are not punishments, they are repressed aspects of your psyche. If you want to survive that test, you must begin by facing your shadows now. Journal, reflect, confess, integrate. Make your mind a place of truth, not hiding. 4. Practice conscious dying. One of the most powerful esoteric practices is to rehearse your own death. No, not morbidly, but mindfully. Lie down in darkness. Imagine your last breath. Let go of your body. Let go of your name. Let go of everything. And then, visualize the clear light, not as an image, but as a presence, a field, a force. Practice merging with it. Do this weekly. Do this nightly. Not to hasten death, but to master it. Because when the moment comes, you will remember, and memory is power in the Bardo. 5. Live in alignment with truth at the end of your life. You will face every ripple you've ever made, every lie, every kindness, every secret thought. So make your life now a reflection of the soul you want to meet later. Speak truth, act with integrity, align with purpose. The life review is not judgment. It is you, seeing yourself with nothing left hidden. Let your daily choices become your soul's liberation script. The Tibetan masters say that the moment of death is the most important moment of your existence. But not because it defines you, because it reveals you. And what it reveals depends entirely on what you've prepared. So start today. The gate is always approaching. The only question is, will you be ready to walk through it, or fall back into the cycle? Everything you've heard today has one purpose: to awaken you, to stir something ancient in your soul, to remind you of a truth you've always known, but forgotten in the noise of the modern world. Death is not the enemy. It is the gateway, and you are not powerless in its presence. You are not doomed to wander in confusion, lost in illusion, unless you choose to be. The teachings we've explored are not just beliefs. They are instructions, handed down across generations, carried in secret, encoded in symbol, preserved against all odds. The Tibetan masters didn't write the Bardo teachings to scare us. They wrote them to liberate us. The Book of the Dead is not a book for the dead at all. It is a guide for the living, for those who dare to look ahead, for those who understand that death is not someday. It is always near. And if you do not meet it consciously, it will meet you unconsciously. Let's remember what we've uncovered. At the moment of death, the illusions begin. The clear light appears, and if you can merge with it, you escape. But if you cling, if you fear, you descend into the projections of your own mind. You are shown everything. Everything you hid, everything you denied, everything you were. And you are asked, without words, to let go of all of it, to surrender your false self, to release every thread that binds you to the cycle. And few do, because it's not about being good. It's about being aware. And that's the secret no one wants to tell you. Your salvation is not outside of you. It's not earned, it's remembered. There is no external judge waiting in the afterlife, no final test from a sky-bound deity. There is only you, your mind, your consciousness, your karma, your truth. You are the gate. You are the mirror. You are the storm, and the stillness behind it. So what now? What do you do with all of this? You begin living as though death were a sacred teacher, because it is. You stop chasing illusion. You train your awareness. You face your shadows. You practice letting go. Not because you're obsessed with dying, but because you're ready to truly live. Only those who face death without fear can live without chains. And that is what you're being called to do. You are not watching this by accident. Something in you is stirring, something older than this body, this name, this life. Hear it, because the ancient masters didn't preserve these teachings for entertainment. They preserved them for you, for the rare soul willing to ask, what happens when I'm no longer me? What remains? What was I before I was born? And where do I go after I leave? And the answer is not a place. The answer is a state of being, a clarity so sharp it dissolves form, a truth so complete it can only be known in silence. When your time comes, you will enter the Bardo, as all beings do. And in that place, your only weapon will be your awareness, your only map, the one you've carved into your soul. So begin carving. Practice dying every day. Let go, again and again. Remember that the body is temporary, the mind malleable. But awareness is eternal. And if you walk into the Bardo with awareness as your guide, you won't fall into illusion. You'll walk through it. And on the other side, you won't find heaven. You won't find hell. You'll find yourself, unbound, unborn, unbroken. This is Celestial Sijjin, where forbidden truths become remembered wisdom. If this resonated with you, share it. Someone you love may need to hear this more than you know. Subscribe if you're ready to reclaim what was hidden, because this is just the beginning, and the Bardo is only one gateway. There are more, and we will open them together.